After the game has been optioned, we can now start our progressive setup for WAP and NAP. Since this will be a WAP and NAP setup, I have chosen to set up the NAP controller first. On the Operators menu, select the Home button. Select from the EGM mode, drop-down menu, Multi-Link Controller. Then select the Setup menu. Here is where we will enter a controller name. Use a name that is similar to the game theme. Select Set Controller Name. A keypad appears. Once entered, select Accept. We can now configure our links. Select Configure Links. Next to appear is the Select Theme or Pay Table. On this page, we need to verify the game theme and pay table only. No changes need to be made here. Select Next. Now we have the Select Denom or Level menu that appears. On this page, we can now see 1 denom and 3 levels. Since we are doing a NAP setup and our WAP information is coming from an external host, which will be our top level, we need to disable our level 1. This means we will broadcast information for only levels 2 and 3. Select Next. Here we will see our default values for levels 2 and 3. Verify this is correct using your cut sheet. Then select Exit. This will take you back to the Multi-Link Progressive Controller Configure page. At this point, we are ready to start our communication for our NAP controller. Select Start Progressive. You will be returned back to the Operators menu. Again, from the Multi-Link Bank Controller drop-down menu, select EGM mode. Then select the Setup menu once more. Next thing to perform will be set up our host communications for our WAP. To do this, select the BNG tab. We will be directed to our BNG setup page. On this page, you will see the MML under the Type menu. Select this as shown. Then select the Edit Selected button on the bottom right of the page. On the next page, you will see your NAP controller we created earlier. But remember, we are using 2 different means of communication, so we need to add more information. To do so, select the Manual Host Discovery button at the bottom as shown. Before we can enter the information needed here, we should have already contacted our NOC Center, and they should have given you an IP address for the WAP host. Depending on the host being used, you will either have a cache connection or a Real Adventures connection. This should already be known before you've begun this installation. In my example, I'm using a simulator to assist with the setup. Select the Enter Host IP as shown. A keypad appears. On the keypad, select the Clear button and then enter the IP address you received from NOC. Once entered, select the Save button and observe this IP address has now been added to our list of host IP addresses. Select Previous at the bottom. This will take you back to the BNG Setup Edit Group Settings page. You should now see the communications available for the WAP setup. If not, there may be some troubleshooting that needs to be performed on the communication. Select the Progressive tab from the menu. Then select Configure Progressive Combos from the choices given. Here we are looking at our controller assignments. On this page, you have 2 options. Always select the game theme from the choices under Themes. From here, we can set up our level ID and who is going to communicate to what controller. Select Bond 007 as shown. Under Level ID Controller, our Level 1 will be our WAP controller, and our levels 2 and 3 will be our NAP. So as we are doing here, verify level 1 is MML WAP, and then select for levels 2 and 3 from the drop-down menus MML NAP. Once the changes have been made, select Save. You will see a prompt message verifying if you want to save these changes. Select Yes to proceed. Next, we will need to configure our controllers by selecting the Configure Controllers tab as shown. Here's where we are now telling each computer which link they will use for their communication. Starting with the NAP, select the MML NAP button. From the Multi-Link Host drop-down menu, select from the list the controller we set up for levels 2 and 3, then select Save. After that, we can now select the MML WAP button and perform the same task we did for our NAP setup. Select from the list of controllers the one we will use for our WAP communications. Provided there are no tilts or errors, we can verify our configuration for both the WAP and the NAP setup. To do this, select the View Configuration tab. Once opened, you can select from the denom pay tables a line, and to the right you will see your level information for both the WAP and NAP. To see more material or even get information, take a look at our YouTube, SG Technical Training website, and our SG Learn site. Here you will find all kinds of valuable information. Thank you. Should you have questions or concerns, send us an email at technicaltraining@scientificgames.com.